I win again. You two really need to learn how to play cards, particularly you, Lyen. You dip your cards so low, even I can see them. You're not supposed to look at our cards, little Tarin. Lucky little halfling. Lilly tries to hide her surprise at seeing such mixed company playing cards. On one side, a tiny little halfling, and on the other, a towering minotaur. In between the two, a rather shady-looking ranger, as if any of the patrons weren't shady-looking. At the other end of the dim-lit tavern, Lilly spots two waitresses busily making trips between the taps and thirsty customers.
What can I get you?
Speak with old Ruknar if you need anything, lass. I'm a bit preoccupied at the moment.
What can I get you?
Sisters, perhaps. One's a brunette and the other a redhead, but both are equally fetching. They're certainly not old Ruknar's daughters, that's for sure.
Hello there!
Greetings to you, lass, and welcome to the Ravenclaw Tavern. I'm Ruknar, proud tavern keeper of this fine establishment. So, lass, what can I do for you today? Of course, Lilly's looking for a pretty elven woman by the name of Kara. Ah, I bet I know the one. We had a young elven woman rent out a room here for the week, and as far as I know, she's still with us. Of course, Lilly doesn't have much hope that he's going to give her a key, but she might as well ask. Yeah, he looks at her suspiciously. Well, we don't usually go around giving out room keys, you know. Well, maybe they do for 50 coin. I suppose you do seem like a nice enough sort. Alright then, I guess I can give you the key, but don't make me regret it. He pulls forth the key from the desk in front of him. There you go. It's room number 1, the one on the right at the end of the hallway. Hope you find what you're looking for. Room key number 1. Lilly almost doesn't want to handle the rough iron key, unsure of whose sweaty palms it's been in.
Hello there!
Alright, Lilly asking Ruknar what he has to offer. Of course, lass. We're always open for business here at the Ravenclaw Tavern. She shouldn't even be surprised. More of that disgusting Gromman tongue. She wonders if the Minotaur playing cards likes eating his own brethren. With morbid curiosity, Lilly dares to peek in the kitchen, half expecting to see a Gromman corpse carefully dissected for all its disgusting parts. No such thing, only a pot of stew, its ingredients a mystery to her nose. Room number 1. Last door on the right down the hallway. She wonders if room number 2 across from it is the Bloodhawk's room Shrek told her about. Lilly tries the key and opens the door to find Kara, the elven woman from the market. It looks as though she's caught her by surprise. No wonder. Lilly didn't even knock first.
Well met.
Kara Dy'nesh, the elven maiden, turning her dark green eyes towards Lilly dangerously as she approaches. Who are you, girl? I suggest you speak quickly, for I not take kindly to strangers barging into my quarters unannounced. Lilly, introducing herself. She relaxes a bit. Lily Black, eh? I would have thought the daughter of Ocaris Black would have better manners than this, but so forgive your actions for now. My name is Kara Dy'nesh, and I'm a traveling priestess of the northern reaches on business here in Ghaarak. Now, I must ask you tell me what purpose you barged into my quarters so rudely. Of course, Lilly doesn't care about the gem. She wants to find out about the spirit. She relaxes a bit. The spirit still remains? That is most unusual, for the spell I used to summon it should have expired in but a moment. She places her hand upon her chin, deep in thought. If my spell is no longer holding the spirit here, it must be bound to this place by his own will. Looks like Lilly doesn't have any choice but to bring up the bloodstone. Quite simply, it's a reagent required for dispelling spirits and other, more powerful spells. I usually keep a number of these rocks on my person. Unfortunately, the road to Ghaarak is a long and dangerous one. During the trek here, I used up my bloodstone supply. When I saw Nelgir's stand, I hoped to restock. The fool was charging 300 gold pieces for a simple red rock. No right-minded merchant would charge more than a single gold piece for a bloodstone. I do not regret the theft. Lily trying to steer the conversation back to the ghost. She considers Lily's words. Perhaps you're right. I didn't mean to cause Nelgir any permanent harm, but I need this stone badly. Despite what that fool may claim, it's of very little worth. I suppose you're right. I have caused more havoc than I meant to. I truly did not believe that the summoning spell would last as it did. For a spirit to remain in the mortal realm for so long, it must have some strong purpose tying it here. If you like, I can attempt to contact the spirit through a trance, allowing it to use my body to communicate with you. Perhaps then you could learn what purpose the spirit remains tied to this realm and discover a way to dispel it. That would free Nelgir of its presence and allow me to keep the bloodstone I so desperately need. Kara asking Lily if she should enter this trance. I'm more than willing to do so if we can yet resolve this affair peacefully. I think Lily'd like to know what this trance really entails. I think what she's worried about is, what if the spirit becomes hostile while it's possessed Kara's body? Through a ritual of the dead, I shall contact the spirit, allowing it to possess my body for a brief period of time. It'll be able to speak through me, and thus explain its purpose for remaining here on the mortal plane. Yeah, this sounds like beyond the normal talents of a priestess. Lily asking her how she's able to command the dead with such ease. She appears uncomfortable at that question. It was a gift. I was born with a gift and a curse. The blood of my family is strong with the power of Akhana, goddess of death. I've always had a strong bond with the realm of the underworld. It's not a matter I wish to speak further on, at least not until I can trust you enough to call you a friend. For now, you only need to know that I can aid you in finding a way to put the spirit to rest. Alright, I guess Lily will risk it, asking Kara to enter this trance. Kara raises her hands and the room goes cold and dark. Her eyes roll back in her head and she invokes an unnatural call. Spirit of the dead, hear me. Speak through me, so that we may yet know your purpose. Her eyes roll back down, but they've taken on a milky white color. When she speaks, her voice is deep and unnatural. Who is it that calls me forth? Your voice I hear, but my eyes cannot see. Speak your purpose, for in death my patience has grown thin. Presumably, the voice of the spirit. And if he's impatient, I think Lily will get right to the subject, asking how she may rid Nelgir's stand of the spirit. So Nelgir has sent you, has he? I should have known he would seek to rid himself of my presence, for the guilt must be more than his weak little mind can stand. Apparently they knew each other. I am the risen spirit of Malgor, once the most prominent gem trader throughout the northern reaches. Then my life was snuffed from existence by the hand of my treacherous offspring, the weasel I named Nelgir, stabbed in the dark for a small hoard of gems. That was my fate, all for the greed of my bastard son. It's quite a surprise. By the hand of this elven witch have I been brought back to Oberon, and here I shall remain until justice is served. Bring the treacherous worm that is my son into the hands of justice. Look for my body in the place where I fell. I remember it to be a place of darkness and a terrible stench. Of course, that sounds like the sewers. The bonds which hold me to the body of this elven witch grow weak, and I must depart. Remember my words well, young mortal. Only by giving me what I seek shall you rid this city of my presence. With a great howl, the spirit releases Kara. She slumps forward weakly. She wobbles unsteadily. Lilly offers her arm for support. She accepts it with gratitude. Thank you. It is not easy communicating with the dead in such a fashion, and I'm afraid it'll take me a while still to recover. Or Lilly telling Kara what the spirit accused Nelgir of. Kara sounds surprised. Well, I would explain why the spirit has remained so long. I imagine a spirit murdered in such a fashion would certainly want to see its vengeance. I suppose you'll have to find some proof of Nelgir's guilt. Or Lilly mentioning the spirit talked about darkness and a terrible stench. Perhaps a sewer of some sorts. Of course, Lilly already guessed that. It might be worth starting there at least. Well, good luck in your search, lass. I hope my trance was of service to you. Should you need any further help, feel free to return to me here. Lilly asks Kara if they can share the room, since the other guest room is likely occupied, giving a sympathetic account of how she'd been locked out of her home by her monstrous father. Kara hesitantly agrees. Lilly sits on the spare bed, bones lying loyally at her feet. She takes out the scrolls she's purchased earlier from Savannah, Web, and Scare, carefully scribing each into her spell book. She also prepares an identify spell, hoping her father's initial graduation present for her will require its use. She takes out the green light gem she bought from Rago, looking at Kara, hoping she doesn't notice the Grommatung stink still on it. She sets it atop her apprentice's staff and finds the effect somewhat pleasing. At least it's something new. Lastly, she sets out her new tunic to wear in the morning, before turning in for the night. She secretly watches Kara fall asleep in the other bed from behind tousled bangs, before she falls asleep herself. In the morning, Lilly refreshes herself and wears her new tunic. She's somewhat pleased with it, and wonders if Kara thinks she looks nice, though she doesn't dare ask the priestess for fear of how she might answer. Instead, she simply imagines she does. Lilly is ready to root out the Bloodhawks for Markius, the ShadowGuard recruiter. Lilly knocks 3 times. She hears the peephole in the door draw open, and a raspy voice speaks from the other side. Eh? Who goes there? What business you have come rapping upon this door? Lilly speaks the password. The hawk's blood flows freely. Ah, must have been sent by Shrak. Give me a moment, lass. She hears the door on the lock on the door draw back, and it suddenly swings open. What was Lilly thinking? She only wanted to make sure Shrak wasn't lying about operatives here in the tavern, verify her facts, as it were, but she hadn't thought of what she'd do or say if they opened the door. What a fool she's been. She's probably ruined everything. Lilly runs back to Markius to quickly report her findings. She wonders if he'll notice her new clothes and hopes they're fitting attire for a ShadowGuard initiate.
Yes, hello to you.
Have you brought any news regarding the Bloodhawk's base? Or apparently there was 2 operatives there at the Ravenclaw Tavern. You have served your purpose well, Lilly. She'll have a chance to finally track down the foul Bloodhawk base within this city. Done much for me already. However, I've learned that the Bloodhawks have thrived here and have a much larger force than I anticipated. I fear that I alone would have little success striking against these slavers. I need help. Would you be willing to lend me some assistance and help track down these slavers? Together we could put an end to their trade once and for all. Of course, this sounds more dangerous, but yet another challenge that Lilly will need to meet in order to be initiated into the ShadowGuard. So of course she's going to accept, eagerly. I'm glad to hear it, Lilly. You're a good woman. I won't forget what you've done for me. We should set off quickly as we can to confront the Bloodhawks. Come, Lilly. Together, you and I shall go to the Ravenclaw Tavern and face these criminals side by side. Lead the way. You're more knowledgeable of the city than I. Rest assured, I'll stand ready to aid you as needed. Markius Albright, the ShadowGuard recruiter. He looks not as dumb as Lilly would like. A seemingly formidable fighter with short-cropped blonde hair that has a sheen almost as bright as from his heavy imperial plate mail, covering him almost from head to toe. Really surprised he could move at all. At his back, a heavy crossbow and a 2-handed greatsword, and he wants Lilly to lead the way. As it should be. He should accompany her for a little detour into the sewers to look for the body of Malgor, Nelgir's father. Lilly grimaces when confronted with the foul stench of the sewers. She would have never believed she'd prefer the stink of the harbor to anything else, until now. She begins to breathe only through her mouth, trying not to imagine the disgusting filth that might be catching on her tongue. But she can't. She covers her mouth as well. She sets Bones to track for the body ahead. With this stench, the panther will have to seek it out with eyes alone. Come on, you maggots. We got a whole lot more of this filth to clear out before we can start slacking off. Now get yourselves back to work. With a nasal and muffled voice that almost makes Markius laugh were he not so polite, Lilly conjures a half-fabricated story about assisting Officer Ghan with a murder investigation. She makes liberal mention of such things as empire, duty, justice, and other such nonsense, hoping to impress the recruiter not only with her motives, but willingness to take initiative in the matter. She simply doesn't want to be here alone, nor carry a disgusting corpse if Bones actually finds one. She wonders if the sewer workers have seen anything, but she'd rather not have to suffer speaking with any of them. Their breath is likely as bad as the stink of their charge, and their manners even worse. Bones notices a rather suspicious pile of rubble lying near the sludgy pool of sewage ahead. Bones has found a suspicious rubble pile, likely a shallow grave for Nelgir's father, and alerts his mistress of the finding, interrupting her nasal and muffled speech to the ShadowGuard recruiter. Just in time, too, as he was about to ask her to elaborate on the details. The sewer workers stare warily at the strange inquisitors as they walk past, making Lilly wonder if they're somehow involved. Maybe they're accomplices of Nelgir. Relatives, even. Malgor's corpse appears to be the body of Malgor, Nelgir's father. Lying squarely in the middle of the corpse's back is a long dagger with Nelgir's inscription engraved upon the handle. Lilly waves her free hand, the other is still over her mouth, at the corpse, motioning for Markius to pick it up, which he does, dutifully. With their evidence found, Lilly puts both hands over her mouth, as if about to retch, and runs for the exit with as much grace as she can muster under these oppressively malodorous circumstances. Thank goodness for fresh air. Salt and stink be damned. Lilly plans to confront Nelgir with the body of his father immediately, with Markius. On the way, she pleads with Markius to not believe a word of anything that Nelgir might say, whether it be about himself, sultry elven market thieves, or even her own dealings with the merchant. Have you discovered a way to disperse this ghastly spirit, lass? Alright, Lilly confronting Nelgir with the evidence. His expression becomes one of mixed fear and anger. And just what do you intend to do with that body, lass? I think normally she'd entertain the idea of blackmailing him, but I don't think she'd dare do that in front of Markius. You must not do that. It will be the end of me. I'll tell you what. I'll give you 300 gold pieces if you'll turn that body over to me and never speak of this again. Wow, is that awfully tempting. But she has to make a good impression for the ShadowGuard recruiter. Nelgir snarls. Then run on to Ghan, but I'll deny every bit of it. You'll see. No one will believe your silly story. On the way, Lilly explains to Markius that the Imperial officer will deny having known her involvement or even that there was an investigation at all.
I greet you.
On account of it being top secret Imperial business. Alright, Lilly bringing the accusation to Imperial officer Ghan. He bends down to inspect the body, removing the dagger from its back. Looking it over carefully. Well now, this does seem quite incriminating. I always had a feeling that Nelgir was a bit shady, but this is far more than I would have ever expected from him. I shall dispatch a group of guards to arrest the merchant immediately, Lilly. You've done the city of Ghaarak a great service today. I'm sure your father would be proud of your actions. As a small reward for your service, I'd like to present you with a small purse of gold. Take it with the thanks of the city, Lilly. It's the least I could do. I only wish it could be more. I'm sure Lilly agrees. Yeah. My men shall see to Nelgir's arrest at once. And to think it could have been 500 gold. She tried to think of a way to be free of Markius for just long enough to blackmail Nelgir, and then somehow convince the recruiter. She simply lost the course, but it just seemed impossible. By order of Rakaz's law, we hereby place you, Nelgir, under arrest on the charge of murder. I hope you burn in the hells for this, lass. I had it all planned out, and you had to come along and ruin it all. A curse on all the line of black. The spirit of Malgor bows to Lilly in gratitude. As it does so, it slowly begins to disperse out of sight, returning to the underworld from whence it came. Lilly hopes that this little conviction brought her a little closer to an initiation into the ShadowGuard. She'll have to tell Kara all about it, too. But for now, that'll have to wait. Her and Markius need to root out the Bloodhawk operatives at the Ravenclaw Tavern. The plan? Markius will pose as the stock to be traded with the Bloodhawks. Lily doubts they'll fall for it. He certainly doesn't appear to be an elderly house servant, but he insists on keeping his arms in armor. In fact, Lily finds it reassuring for her own safety, of course. What could be more important than that? They maintain an awkward silence as they enter Ravenclaw Tavern, room number 2.
What?
The Bloodhawk, standing before Lily, gives her a welcoming grin, but his eyes glint with a dangerous light. So, you're here on business from Shrek, I take it. On behalf of the Bloodhawks, I welcome you. He turns his gaze towards Markius, and his smile broadens. I see you brought your companion with you. Seems to be a fine specimen indeed. She'll lead you to our master. I'll be very pleased with the both of you. The two Bloodhawks smile at Lily, but she gets the sense that something is horribly wrong. Suddenly, she feels a stinging in her neck. Raising her hand to it, she feels the feathered end of a small dart. Her vision already beginning to blur, she sees Markius stagger and fall to the floor. The room whirls about her, but she feels no impact.